Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.
Yeah, it's Classics weekend at Newmarket. We have one more day of Punchestown left, and you're very welcome along to Friday Night Racing, brought to you in association with Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie or follow on Twitter at HRI Racing, hashtag every racing moment. Races take place every day of the week. Some are quite notable, some are less notable. This race itself, as you look at it now, it doesn't look especially notable, but just wait a minute or two afterwards and we'll explain why it was.
A different world in the centre. Eat the Book on the outside as they come to the last. A different world from Eat the Book. Wide apart on the track. Back in third place is Good World, but it's on the far side. A different world. Tackled now by Eat the Book, who's come right from the back of the field and is going to defy top weight. Great moment for jockey Simon Condon as well. Eat the Book is the winner from a different world. Good World back in third, and then Classic Concord, who's come home in fourth in the end.
Yeah, on the far side there was the JP McManus colours. Martin Brassel, Grand National winning trainer, training A Different World, ridden by Mark Walsh, possibly the best national hunt jockey around. On the near side was Eat the Book, trained by David Dunn, running in the colours of his owner, and that is Simon Condon. Now, Simon, usually you will hear after every race every so often, oh yeah, that horse, my dad bought him for me to ride. It's not normal though that the jockey is riding the winner, his first winner at 59 years of age. Tell us about this.
Yeah, it was great, Johnny. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a great achievement, I think, and I was delighted to do it. Yeah, it's been great. Long time coming, yeah. Been a long time coming.
It was a long time coming, but you didn't, fair enough, you didn't look like a fellow who's riding winners every day of the week, but you certainly didn't look like you were riding one at 59 years of age for your first time either. Yeah, well, I've been riding out like since the last 40 years. I've been riding out regularly, doing a lot of school and doing over hurdles and fences, riding a bit of work all the time. Rode in a few Point of Pines, few bumpers, few hurdle races. So yeah, it was just, and the horse was very good in fairness, and he was the best horse in the race. And yeah, he jumped from hurdle to hurdle, and it was easy enough. Like it was because he was a good horse, like, you know. So yeah, it was great. Like he was a good horse. He was sent off 40-1 though.
Yeah, but he was 40-1. He shouldn't have been that price, probably. Yeah. You know, he had a lot of issues, and there was a few bad runs that he had because of these issues that he had, and you know, he had kind of a bit of a problem with his breathing and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was great in the end. Yeah.
Before we get to your career to date, because you're only starting off, really, in fairness, talk to us about the race. I mean, I think from a personal perspective, I've definitely had dreams where I've ridden a winner, or I've had dreams where I'm on the football pitch and I've that horrible feeling when you wake up and you realise this actually was just a dream, and you go back to sleep or whatever it is. This was a reality for you, though.
It was a reality for me, and it was kind of an obsession for a long, long time. And then towards the last couple of years, I kind of said to myself, well, maybe this probably isn't going to happen. So then when I chilled out a bit about it, and I said, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Has it all been in vain? When I enjoyed the riding out and that, so when I chilled out about it, then it just happened, and it was great. Like
the race itself, I mean, it was a well-timed run. You obviously beat Mark Walsh in the finish. You got a good jump at the last, stayed on well up the hill. How did it go from gate to wire?
Yeah, I had walked the course a few days previous, and it was originally a 3-mile race, and they had they put it to 2:07 because I heard someone saying that there's generally a mad rush to the first fence, and they didn't want them going that fast. So by having to start a bit near the fence, they might be going as fast into it. So that was in me. You know, I knew that I kind of figured maybe they might go a bit fast anyway, so I cantered down to the start anyway, and the ground on the inside was all churned up. It was watered, and it was nice. It was good ground, but it was kind of churned up and that, and I said, God, I'm going to stay on the outside. It was a much better ground. So I said, right, I'll stay on the outside. And the lads, I thought they went a little bit fast, so I said, right. So I stayed where I was and, tipped along, and I knew that he'd stay, and I got a nice bit of ground. And he goes. It takes him a while to get warmed up. I mean, I knew kind of it's going to take him a lap at least to get warmed up anyway, because he hits a flat spot for a long period of time, but he keeps on going. So I didn't mind. There was no pressure on me from owners or trainers to win this race, and I thought the horse might have needed to run. which as it turned out he didn't. So I said to myself, God, if the horse needs to run, I'm not going to batter him to get home, like. And so, you know, I won't be that hard on him. So I said, I give him a, you know, the kind of way. So because I just thought maybe he might, you know, if needed a little bit, but he was. But David said no. David said to me, no, the horse is fully fit in that, which he was. It turned out my judgment was wrong in that. So he was totally fit, because he probably doesn't need a lot to get fit, if you know what I mean. So I stayed on the outside anyway, and ground was nice, and you know, he loved the ground there, and he was you know, he's a horse that has lovely, good action. He's low centre of gravity, and you know, just tipped along there, and yeah, he got into a rhythm then, jumped from hurdle to hurdle, and then I knew where I was going to make my move, kind of, you know, at the fourth last, and I think it was at the third last that two horses fell in front of me. That kind of knocked me off a bit, but he was quick enough to, you know, to go on the outside, and then I kept my momentum going, because at that stage I had to make my move, and then he just started picking up all the time, and like I knew he wasn't going to stop at that stage, and even the third last I knew, like, I mean, I knew he wasn't going to stop, and I had a fair idea that he was going to win at that stage, to be honest with you. Because I just know him, and that was it. And it worked out perfect on the day. It was great.
End up winning, going away. So you had You had your first ride under rules, give or take, in your mid-40s, the 2006-2007 season. You had two rides that season. Two rides in 2008-2009. One ride in 2009-2010. Three rides 2010-2011. This reminds me a bit of the family, where three kids came along at once, and then there was one after a big gap, and they're like, God, what happened there? Because you didn't have another ride until 2018-2019. One ride then, one ride in 2020-2021, and one ride so far in 2021-22, a winner.
Yeah, it's been great. Now, I had ridden in the 80s and tried ridden on the track in the 80s.
So it's actually too long ago for the Racing Post database.
Yeah, no, the 80s, I had a lot of I'd ride in the 80s. I rode for Liam Kavanagh, I rode for Michael Grassick back in the 80s, so I had them, but I kept my licence. I never let my licence lapse, so I just kind of kept it up, you know, always kind of hoping, you know, so... So
did you ride in the 90s at all, or did you have a gap of like 15, 20 years?
There was a gap. I kind of forget, Johnny, now. I might have had a ride or two. Oh, I rode point to point, sure. I rode lots of point to point. I rode my own horse, Flemish Dancer. I rode him in 10 point to points, and I rode him. Yeah, I rode for other people in the point to points in the 90s. A few small trainers. Yeah, in the point to points, kind of. I was probably more rides in point to points, maybe. On the track. Yeah,
we saw Liam Burke riding in bumpers as well. I think Liam's in his 60s, and is it almost normalising it that you can? I mean, I honestly think one of the things racing doesn't nearly sell well enough is people who just continue to ride horses well into their 80s, and John Kiley and his brother Paddy riding out these horses in their 80s, for me, is something we should do a documentary on. But like, could you be a trailblazer now for the more elderly jockey?
I don't know. There's so much to that. God, yeah. It's... I don't know. I know just riding out. If I'm riding out 5 horses for David every morning, and like he's training national-owned horses, and David gives them plenty long, slow distance work. You might be cantering for maybe 2.5, 3 mile, and they take it out here. Like, so it really is. Like, I don't know how the Kiley lads do it. Like, you know, you know. So it is a very good form of fitness, and it, you know, especially if you're riding 5 in the morning or 6 sometimes. You know, it's like a fella going to the gym, I suppose, there from 8 o'clock in the morning till maybe 1 o'clock. I don't know, but it does keep you fit anyway in that. So yeah, it's good. Like that,
well, we'll say some people like retirement at 65 or 66. Like Jessica Harrington didn't start becoming a flat trainer until she was more or less in her 70s. Racing is a slightly different game in this regard.
Yeah, it does kind of produce a few surprises, I suppose. Maybe people don't know so much about it, because I think people like trainers and jockeys and that, they work so hard at home that I think a lot of them are very fit people, and yeah, they just keep going, and I suppose they love the sport and they have a passion for it, and you know, that's what keeps them going, you know, as well. And
it is really good for your core, isn't it, and general fitness, because like, you know, anyone who doesn't ride a horse and gets up on one, you know, he or she just basically feels so stiff the day after, and it must have you in great fiddle. I think Jamie Codd went on record saying as he couldn't get over how fit you looked in the weighing room after.
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah, just riding every day keeps you fit anyway, but like, as anyone will tell you, like, riding at home will not it will not give you, it will not keep you fit for race riding. So I do a little bit of other cardiovascular work with that. And then going to Warren O'Connor as well, he kind of helped me with my fitness as well, technique, all that kind of stuff. So I think when you get to my age, I think, like when I was, like 30 years ago when I was young lad, I was fit as a fiddle. I wasn't getting that many rides. I rode my own a few and that kind of stuff, but I was really fit. So in order to keep that level of fitness up, I have to do other stuff with my riding out, we'll say. And that's what I do. But I mean, a few years ago there was no, like going back, there was no jockey coaches, and I kind of, fellas to be telling you to go out and run for, to run and do all that kind of stuff. But I kind of overdid it a few years ago, but now I have the balance right and know exactly what to do and not what to do. And but I do a little bit of fitness with it to keep myself right. Yeah.
So are you a bit of a fitness freak?
No, I'm not a fitness freak. No, I don't like training. I don't like anything, but I do it solely so I can ride.
Wow.
That's
And I'm just
that's the only reason. I mean, I don't like going out cycling. I don't like doing any of that kind of stuff. But I do it because I have a horse in training, and I'm looking forward to riding him in a race, and that's why I did it. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what price he touched in running? Because I'm just watching the race back here. You must be 30 lengths off the pace, almost jumping off.
I was, probably. But I don't know what price he was in running. I have no idea. I have no idea, Johnny.
It's 101,878 views at the moment. How many of them are yours?
I don't know. What about you? See, I'm not on Twitter. I don't know. I suppose I watched it a couple of times, 4 or 5 times maybe.
I don't know. When you woke up the next morning, what were you thinking? Were you like, did this actually happen?
I was delighted. No, I woke up. I did cross him. I couldn't sleep that night. I was too excited. Woke up next morning and I was delighted. And I got a great kick out of it. And what's good about it is that I went up and I rode out for David that morning. We rode out a couple on the gallops as normal. I met the lads across from Dermot McLaughlin's. We all rode out together, and it was great to be in a bunch of horses with a bunch of lads and to say that I'm kind of. Okay, Conor Maxwell was there, a few of the boys were there. I can say, well, I've ridden a winner, Whereas before, like, I'm riding out these lads and I can say, what have I done? God, I was placed on the horse maybe a couple of times, that was it. Now I can say I've ridden a winner. And it's a great feeling, sitting on a horse, knowing that you've ridden a winner. That's what I get the buzz about.
Well, it's also the fact that you were, at 59 years of age, you were happy to go to Kilbeg and walk the track and say, like, they're going quick enough here and I'm going to take a slightly different track because it's better ground on the outside.
Yeah, there's no pressure on me, Johnny. There's no pressure. It's my own horse. I didn't have to answer to anybody, and I was going to do what was right for my horse and what I thought. Now, if I was beaten, everyone would have stayed with me, but I just knew my lad would keep going. I didn't care how far by his back, because I knew he was going to pick up all the time, because the horse probably wants further, and I thought they were going a bit fast. They were shouting and roaring. They flew down to the first, so I said, feck them. So that's what I done, and I went on the better ground on the outside. I was giving away a bit of ground, fair enough. But I knew that, because I rode him in Punchestown and I had him up there and I had him in between horses in the bumper, and I got him revved up, and it was torturous riding him. He just pulled the arms out of me. I was, a horse pulling will take more out of you than a horse than pushing a horse sometimes, So I just really wanted to switch that horse off, and that's what I did. So it worked out. It worked out great.
And your dad's got the horse for you, is that true?
Dad bought the horse for me, yeah. He bought it for me. He said, bought it with the, I'll buy this horse for you and you can ride him in a bumper, he said. So, didn't want me riding over jumps, but we didn't sign any contract about that. So, he's gotten over it now anyway,
Was he racing?
So, he was there that day, yeah. I mean, got a great kick out of it.
What was that like after meeting him? What did you say? Did you embrace?
We did, yeah. He shook my hand, and it was great, and Dad was delighted. And I suppose he said to me it was a milestone in his life that his son would ride a winner, because Dad rode out years ago for Vincent Keane, which would be Vincent Keane, which down in Trim there years ago, and he always wanted to ride in a race, and I think actually he took out an amateur licence and then he didn't ride, or something happened. But he always wanted to ride a winner, and he was delighted for me, and so it was his ambition to, for me to ride a winner, and it happened. Now, we'd bought previous horses down through the years. It didn't work out, like they were no good, or they got injured or something like that. But this is the first time we've got because like the horses, I mean, I did buy horses years ago, but they were kind of cheap horses, and a lot of them weren't very good. So this is the first real good horse that I had, so it's been great.
What age is your dad?
Dad is 80. I think is he 85? He's 85. Yeah.
So he'll be taking out his licence next year, presumably, to ride a winner in Kilbeggan.
Well, he'll have an argument with me over who's going to ride the horse. That's the only thing.
I can see it now. I like, from my perspective, I think in racing, often the stories at this sort of a level and the summer tracks are almost far more interesting than the trainer having 12 winners in the week or whatever at a big festival. And I'm just dying to know now, are you going to run this horse soon, and are you going to ride him the next day?
I'm not really sure. He will hopefully run soon up. He likes good ground, as I said. But he's. I have to be careful because he's kind of a heavy shoulder. He has a lovely action, but he's kind of heavy shouldered, and he probably comes down hard on it a bit. So I have to be a little bit careful. It has to be nice, safe ground, and he will run during the summer because he won't go into winter ground. And you know yourself, Johnny, every racehorse. Every racehorse is a step away from injury. I've had so many setbacks. So I don't like saying, "Oh God, I'm going to ride him," or I don't know. So really.
Well, he looked well handicapped.
We'll see how that goes. He's 118 now. Yeah.
Yeah, he got £10, but
got £10. Yeah.
The way he went away from different worlds would be a solid enough yardstick, and you think, considering how far off the pace he was, what are you, 12 lengths clear, 17.5 lengths clear a third. I mean, you got to be dying to tell. Got to be dying to tell the trainer, Mr. Dunn, to get him out again, and I want to ride him, and I'll win on him again.
Yeah, it's a nice thought. All right, it certainly is. Yeah. It's nice to be tossed to riding a good horse like that. Yeah.
And your dad can lead him in.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that'd be another story. Yeah.
What was the reaction in the weighing room after?
The lads were lovely. The lads were great about everyone congratulating me over there. It was great, And I think Jamie Codd put something up on Twitter. Simon gave him a peach for a ride, and that was great to hear that coming from Jamie, because Jamie, he's a great fella. And I rode against him a point of points in the 90s, and I always admired him. He was some rider, he is some rider, so that was great coming from him. Yeah.
How many times have you ridden over either hurdles or fences against professional riders?
I've only ridden against professionals. I've only had 2 rides over hurdles. That's all. And this one 3 times against. I rode in pro-ams, maybe pro-ams. I think bumpers. I rode in a few of those. Just 2 rides over hurdles against professionals. Yeah.
Your strike rate's all right then.
Yeah, well, listen, that's a nice thought anyway. Yeah.
And tell us about your life. Otherwise, you're a healthcare assistant for the HSE, is it?
Yeah. I've been working there for a long time. Working there, it's kind of a job which gives me a lot of time off, and I can ride out. I'd done a few other things before that. I worked as a butcher, but I always rode out horses before I went into work. Even in the butcher shop, I trained as a butcher, and before I went into work, I'd ride out and that kind of stuff. Then I went to the HSE, and I rode. It gave me plenty of time off to ride out, and then I went and I drove a taxi for a while in Dublin, and I thought that would work out, because I had this idea that I could maybe work at night and then ride out every morning. So I used to finish early enough at night and then ride out the next morning for John Fowler. But I wasn't. But then, because I had to ride out the next day, I wasn't really staying for the work. So I gave that up anyway. I went back to the job in the hospital, and that gave me more time off to ride out, and it worked out well.
So were you back in work after Kilbeggan then?
I was back riding out on the Friday, and then I was doing 2 12-hour shifts on the Saturday to Sunday. Yeah, so back to normal. Yeah.
So did you guess, was there a cake in the hospital for you, or what was the crack?
No, there wasn't a cake. Lots of congratulations and that. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Would you say you're not one of these people who lives for work? You probably I get the suspicion you almost live for that buzz of riding horses and riding out in the morning.
Yeah, it's a great feeling riding a horse. To be honest with you, it's great. It's a great feeling schooling as well, and you're going out to a hurdle or fence, and especially on my horse now, he kind of, when he sees a stride at home, he's going into it, and if he sees the stride and I see it, and he gives a squeal sometimes, and he's just mad for it, and he just goes in 1, 2, 3, bang, he's gone. That's a great feeling. I like this. I love the schooling and jumping. Yeah.
It's something I say week to week, on the show. I'm repeating myself over and over and over again, but people who haven't ridden a horse should probably do it, because half of them will fall in love with it.
Yeah, it is. You get a great buzz out of it. Yeah, you really do. It's it's that feeling, as I said, you get from them, especially schooling. It's great.
Before we wrap up, what are the plans for the rest of the year? Any other horses on the go, or is this your kind of your sole love? And I guess I don't know. I can't wait to see you riding again. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I've only one horse. I only ever had one horse. Like, I always just had one horse. I couldn't afford to keep many of them, so it was always just one I had. This is my sole horse, myself and Dad, and long may it last. And hopefully, he'll do better. Like, and so. And we're lucky to get him on the race course because he's had an awful lot of problems down through the years. He's lightly raced, and hopefully that's, touch wood, that's all gone now, and forwards and upwards. So.
Well,
it's been great.
Congratulations. I remember watching the documentary in Dawn Run. I think they barred Charmaine Hill from riding because she was getting too old, but there's no fear of that with you.
Well, no, to be honest, I feel quite fit. Like, and as I said, I work on my fitness, and so I don't know. I feel fit anyway. I probably actually, do you know something? I remember years ago when I was riding, we only rode out 2 or 3 lots. There was plenty of staff. Now there's no staff, and I'm riding at 5 or 6 lots. So, is it possible I'm fitter now than I was 30 years ago, and I'm doing a bit more work on my cardiovascular fitness and core work? Maybe I could be a little bit more fitter. I don't know.
Do you know Larkin Wire?
No, yeah, I do. Yeah, I know. I rode out with him years ago. Yeah, just yeah.
So I got into cycling, give or take 2 years ago. Larkin wouldn't be much younger than you. In fact, he'd be similar age to you, maybe slightly younger. And what he's doing on the bike, for somebody like me who's 20 years or so, his junior, is absolutely inspirational. I hope what you're doing will inspire a lot of other jockeys, that it's possible regardless of what age you are.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will. Yeah. And the thing about jockeys is, like, I mean, why a lot of lads are tired, they all love the game. It's obviously injuries. When you're riding over jumps every day of the week, you're going to get faults, you're going to get injuries. And by that stage, they have a bet when behind they're 40, they've had a belly full probably. I'm, like, as I said, I haven't had that many rides. I've been lucky enough with injuries, no serious injuries. So, yeah, it's been good. And that's probably why I keep going as well. Like, if I had started riding winners when I was 20 years of age, I was supposed to go up to Stan Mellor. I applied for a job, but that didn't work out. And if I was successful younger, I probably wouldn't be riding now. Do you know the kind of way? So maybe it's worked out that way.
Well, these good things come to those who wait and all that.
Well, so they say. Yeah, it's come to me anyway.
At 59. Simon, you're an absolute inspiration, and congratulations. And as I say, I can't wait to see you on the horse in action again at one of these summer tracks.
Well, hopefully, Johnny. Hopefully it'll happen again. Hopefully.
Yeah, that was Simon Condon, and you can check out the video on YouTube. You just look up Simon Condon riding his winner at Kilbeggan, 59 years of age, over 100,000 hits already on YouTube. The sort of heartwarming story I think that we all need from some time to time. Friday Night Racing is brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit HRI.ie or follow on Twitter at HRI Racing, #every racing moment.
Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit HRI.ie.
And you're welcome back. We are back, are we? Are we back, Michael?
I think we're back.
I think we're back. We are back. Yeah, and that was the amazing story of Simon Condon. We're just saying there, before you come in, you're obviously new enough to the racing slot and looking into racing maybe when you wouldn't necessarily have before this now. And it's the characters like this that I don't hopefully sell the sport. Like, forget about Drive to Survive. I think like if racing could do a Drive to Survive and follow the people that you don't necessarily see riding winners as Royal Ascot or whatever, I just think there's so many storylines.
You've mentioned that a few times, actually, an idea of a race and Drive to Survive. I think it would be I think it's exactly what we should be doing. You know, there's so many characters, there's so many people who don't grab the headlines, and I mean, Simon is the best example yet that we've had of that. You know what I mean? That is a really interesting sporting story, even if he didn't have that winner last week, and we would have never heard of it, you know. So yeah, look, I mean, we were just talking.
That's exactly the point. We would never have heard of that, except for a 40-1 winner. So that it was that unlikely.
But I was just saying to you there during the ad break is like, since I've been kind of back at the show and producing every Friday, I've been really enjoying these stories. We've been getting great guests on, and we've just had long chats with them that aren't even, they're interviews, but they're just kind of like, they're chats, and these people are always so humble, but they always have it's such an interesting sporting life being involved in horse racing.
And the beauty of horses and the power of horse underneath you. And take all that aside, he comes into Kilbeggan, he gets off the horse and he shakes his dad's hand, thanks Dad, who's in his 80s, for buying me the horse that you've given me my first winner on at 59 years of age. And then he comes on the radio and kind of sounds like it was just another winner. It's just like, yeah, but sure, I'm riding out him. You know, it's just class.
It just has to mean so much to him deep inside. But yeah, as you said, like we were talking with Dan on the show a couple of weeks ago about Sam Whaley-Cohen, and you know, and like there was an element of how great an amateur career, but also, you know, his dad was buying him the best horses to put him on, and you know, it definitely helped with, like, he has obviously two of the biggest races on the on the calendar to his name, which is brilliant. You know, it's an incredible story in itself, but also, you know, there's so many people up and down the country that is like, you know, little tiny yards, or, you know, somebody buying like we're talking about an 80-year-old dad buying a horse for his 59-year-old son.
Well, I'm not going to play for you know, Galway United, or I'm not going to play for the Ireland international team like any of us wanted to, but I could buy a horse, I could train myself to ride it, and I could ride a winner at 59. That's the story. You can ride against the best and win.
Yeah. You have bought a horse, of course, over the years. We've heard about that in the past. But I don't know if you ever went to train and ride it.
I've, like, one of my tenants is Adam Potts, and he rides out at Ken Condon's, and you know, another of the tenants then is young Hugh, who rides out at John McConnell's, and there's so many stories every day of like just the crack that they have with other riders, the bit of salacious gossip, the horses that are going well, and it's just, if you're involved day to day, it is kind of hard to see how you'd ever get away from it. Do you know?
Yeah. Going back to the Drive to Survive thing as well, it's such a community, isn't it? Like, so it's like the same people in the Curragh, the same people in Kilbeggan, the same, you know, and again, it's almost at that, you know, not the glitzy TV level, it's the sort of one below that, where it's the same people day in, day out in this community. I'd imagine there's some stories there, you know, and some rivalries and some friendships and all that would just be captured brilliantly on a show like that. I just love your idea.
What's going on?
Well,
Punchestown this week.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So you tell me. Has it been a vintage Punchestown? It's like it's the end of the jump season. It's the marquee festival for Irish jumps racing.
Like some great performances. I think Allaho was the highlight in winning the Punchestown Gold Cup, in that he normally runs in the Ryanair, which is the intermediate trip between the Gold Cup and the Champion Chase. I thought he was way too short in the bet and taking on horses that had run well in the Gold Cup, and he absolutely pulverised them for Willie Mullins. And now, I guess, you know, Willie hasn't had a great record in the Gold Cup. I think he might have a Gold Cup horse now in Allaho, and he was probably the highlight of the week. I suppose from a human perspective, Robbie Power, who's going to go out on a high and Punchestown. It's exactly what Ruby Walsh did. Incidentally, after winning the race that Allaho won, when he won it, Robbie Powers decided that now is a good time, and I think you know, he's had his share of injuries as well, including in recent years. He looked like the Terminator when he won the Gold Cup in Size and John, because he had such a bad injury in his eye socket. And it's like I I did a small crash on the bike in November, and I was concussed for 2 minutes, and it was like I must have dined out in that story for so, like, these jockeys do this all the time, every day, and they think nothing of it. And it's like, you see the injuries they go through, and if you can get out on a high like he is, and Davy Russell is 43 this year, whenever he retires, hopefully the same, get out on a high, like, that's just such a
God, we're losing a lot of characters though, aren't we? When you think of, like,
the end of the golden generation.
Back to McCoy probably started it, and we've lost so many up, with Ruby obviously the highlight in the middle of it, but a lot of really good jockeys, and now it's like Robbie Power, Davy Russell coming to the end of it. That is a golden generator. Barry Garrity obviously,
Barry Garrity, Paul Carberry, Tony McCoy, and it's kind of a, you look at, like, even the League of Ireland managers now, they'll say, oh, he's a really good character, I can't bring anyone into the dressing room unless he's a good character, and it's almost like they want these clones of great professionals, whereas, with all due respect to the likes of Paul Carberry and these other characters, they lived life as well, and Paul Carberry get injured out hunting, he'd jump on a stag, and famously got injured by getting a buck of a stag's antlers in the chest, and had to explain why he was missing a big race. And it is an end of an era in that sense as well, and that you're not really necessarily going to get that anymore. Like, and these were gifted riders like Carberry, Ruby, McCoy, Garrity, like among the best ever. If not one of them, Carberry could have been the most talented jockey of all time in jumps racing. Maybe Ruby was the best, and they are gone, and it is a bit sad. Like, you miss them.
Yeah. But, like, there is a new generation there. Like, I mean, Rachel Blackmore's probably making more headlines than anybody, and, like, Paul Townend on Allaho there.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There is some good guys there still. What do you think about Allaho in the Gold Cup though? Because if he's 2.5, he's won 2 Ryanairs, double Cheltenham winner, and then he goes Punchestown Gold Cup at 3.
Yeah,
3.5 too much for you?
I don't think it is. And the thing for me with Allaho was partly the trip, partly to me he kind of goes out to his left at fences at times, and he did that at Punchestown to a small extent, but he's better at Cheltenham. He's definitely better at Cheltenham. Time in, year out, like Aplutard was a 2-mile horse who bolted up in the Gold Cup this year because he was amenable to restraint, and it was kind of the same with Koto Star in the day. You do have to have a bit of class. And for me, I'd forget about the Ryanair. I'd totally go for the Gold Cup next year. Obviously, the same connections as Aplutar. Bring the two of them there, and we'll have a great race. And it was a brilliant performance. I mean, I would wonder about some of the horses in behind, but it's Clandazobu, Abum Photo, and Kemboy were the horses second, third, and fourth. So you can't really grab the form. He won by 14 lengths, and I'm fairly certain he's better going left-handed.
Yeah, no, I've seen that a few places. I wouldn't know, but it's mad that it doesn't stop either, isn't it? Because that's the end of jumps now.
It's straight into
we're straight into classics this weekend.
Yeah, and like it's I do like this time of year, I have to say. Punchestown it's a really good card again on the Saturday, but like you're into Newmarket, and just Aidan O'Brien having a well fancied horse in the classics or something like that. He has to beat Native Trail obviously in the Guineas on Saturday, but Ryan Moore riding Luxembourg would be my idea of the Derby winner. That could be his trial, and straight in then to the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket, and the show just goes on. And the beauty of the summer circuit is you have stories like Simon, that it's not, I always think racing, even at a low level, there's always intrigue and stuff going on, and you get the summer circuit, you get a lot of kind of, you're counting down to Galway now, and Irish racing's in a really good nick, and I think it's going to be a fascinating flat campaign. Frankie Dettori riding Point Lonsdale for Aidan O'Brien tomorrow. It's a lot of kind of stories there. Is Native Trail the next big thing for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin? So yeah, the circle continues.
Frankie's still going.
Like Frankie must be.
You can go into your mid-50s in a rather normal. It's normal enough for the flat, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
he must be.
Pat Edery must have been that age, and you think back, a lot of these guys.
Frankie's 52 this year, and even it's still like it's impressive to ride a winner over jumps at 59, having never ridden a winner like that is.
That's what I was actually trying to get across. Going back to Simon's thing, is that there might be something inbuilt in you if you're not like a mad racing fan, that I've heard of jockeys in their 50s winning, but over jumps is a completely different ball game. Robbie Power's only, I think, 40, isn't he?
Yeah, early 40s. Yeah. And like I'm like to see John Kiley and Paddy Kiley riding out horses, they're well into their 80s. Like Kevin Prendergast is training, he's the guts, he's hitting 90 soon. Like, and I remember Gavin Cromwell telling me the story of his neighbour who, I think it was Gavin's wife, came over to ride a horse, and he said, I'll give you the little quiet one, I'll take the other one. This man was like 86 or something. It's just normal to them. Like, if you ride a horse every day, age isn't going to say now is time to stop, because the likes of us who live half our day on laptops, we're differently tuned. These people live around animals, and they know what their body's capable of, and they also know that, you know, life is about living. You know, and I just think it's class.
How did the tout finish up then?
So the victor has been crowned in the jumps 10 to follow. So we are taking a breather for the launch of the new 10 to follow for the flat season. Details to be announced soon. I thought I was going to follow this great spiel about how I won. But we did that last week.
Get in there, yeah. Ger didn't make it into the top 24,000 anyway. That was his aim all along. He was talking about it all week, but unfortunately he just missed out.
24,000.
I think he was 24,000 and 33rd.
Oh, wow.
And is that how you say that?
And 33rd, yeah. As Simon will show you, there is always next year, our 20 years time really. In the meantime, this Sunday, the total sponsor 5 races on the first card of the season at Sligo. Beautifully picturesque track, big weekend for the county as well, taking on Roscommon in the Connacht Championship. So the first race is the Tote Always SP or better maiden off at 2:15. So this means if you're at the track, essentially you can bet with the Tote and you'll be paid your price or the SP. So it's a big boost, and this will mark the first time that the Tote Always SP or better guarantee is available at Sligo races, with that beautiful backdrop of Mount Bimbulbin in the background. What are you up to for the weekend?
Me, I'm heading down to your neck of the woods.
You have a bit of a debate. You have to tell the missus. I want to go to see Galway and Kilkenny.
Maybe she wants to go and see Galway and Kilkenny. We'll see. We've young kids, so it's not the easiest thing to get out for 2.5-3 hours, but it is near Salt Hill. So
Salt Hill will be rocking on Sunday.
It should be good. Either way, I'll be there.
And Saturday night. I'm sure people will visit Kilkenny. Kilkenny's a great city to go out in, so is Galway.
Yeah. As you said earlier, Galway, the second best city the best city in the world,
and New York is second. Yeah. And the very best of luck to Katie Taylor as well. 3 a.m. in the morning, give her to 3 a.m. Sunday. And finally, how do you call it actually? Does Katie do it?
I hope so. It's very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
Bookies have it right.
I hope so.
That was Friday Night Racing and Off the Ball, brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie and have a good weekend.
Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.